Every day in the USA, people find themselves in court.
Mr. Kelly, you've got Ronald Bratton on sentencing, 23 DCCR 1735.
Aaron, it was emailed to you, if you got it.
Okay. Good morning. Good morning. You are Ronald Bratton. And Mr. Bratton, you were previously in court and entered a plea of guilty to failure to comply with sex offender registration requirements. It was an open plea to the court. I've received the pre-sentence report. Has everyone had an opportunity to review that report?
We have, Judge.
Are there any additions or corrections?
Not from us, Judge.
All right, Mr. Kelly, you may proceed.
Judge, one of the conversations that Mr. Bratton and I have had over the last couple of weeks, and certainly while this case was pending, is that everything that you've got in front of you was not going to be a surprise. We knew what our background here was. One of the things, two really in this case that I've never seen before. One, you can see Detective Flores' statement here, and while he may not necessarily be advocating for probation, he is at least mentioning it as a possibility, and that's because, as he should be, Mr. Bratton is in compliance right now and has been since after the indictment and after the arrest. The other reason for that is because they have, maybe limited, but they have interactions with each other because he's required to check in with him and stay in touch with him as part of his registration. The other is, and this is from Mr. Bratton's perspective, I've never had someone come to me and ask me to ask the court for safety. I know that it happens, but I'm saying it's never happened to me because it's that rare. And the reason that is one of the things that we're asking the court for today is clearly there are other charges in here where he hasn't registered. It's the same thing we're dealing with now. We understand that. We're kind of owning that as best we're able to right now. But everything that the court's looking at, including the registration issues, it's all drug related. All of it's drug related. Ronald has an issue. He wants to get serious help, I think for the first time, addressing it. And finally, Judge, we talked about this morning, he and I have talked about it over the last week or so, and we don't say it casually, we say it because it's true, because it's coming from him and his experience. It's one thing to be sentenced to TDC, and we're very aware that the court has all the authority to do that today. But the way that he said it to me is, it would be very easy to go do something I've already done and sit and count time. Not that there aren't other things that he can do to improve himself, but sitting and counting time is not hard. Doing probation with some pretty serious restrictions on it is hard. It's at least harder than that, as he's conveyed it to me. We have asked while this case has been pending a number of different times, at least 2 or 3, for permission to leave the county to go work for a weekend or work some odd jobs, because frankly he's scraping it together right now to get to the next day, to try to make a living, to try to improve on some things. We're asking the court for community supervision. We're asking the court, if it grants that, to add on any conditions that the court believes are necessary. I'd also like a chance to allocute before the court, if you'd allow me to.
Go ahead. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, sir.
How you doing today? I'm a little nervous because, I'm sitting in front of the judge. I've been through this since I was 18. Got arrested at 18, indicted at 19, and been going through it. And I've been having that jacket on my back, and also a drug addiction problem. And I've been running like a little boy, just getting by life. Well, since the last time I was at this court, I'm a pawpaw now. And changed me more than even having a kid. You know what I mean? And I'd like to be a better granddad than I was a dad.
Mr. Hoffpower?
Your Honor, the state take judicial notice of the PSI, and also in the indictment, you'll see that this defendant has been convicted 3 prior times for failure to register as a sex offender. That's included in the PSI on page, you'll see on page 4, you'll see that it is Grayson County, Hardin County, 2 other counties where he was given probation and failed and was revoked in City Penitentiary, and then as well as, I mean, this is a problem, obviously, and, you know, he's already been to the pen for this. He's been given an opportunity to have probation. He did not complete probation twice. I understand in light of being, you know, those things, but they're always going to be there, and this is a history of not complying with the registration, which he's had that responsibility for a long time. Therefore, we're in here hearing arguments that we hear the first time they do this, not if you'll see there, other times have been dismissed. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about the times that he was convicted, and that's 3 from other counties, not Jefferson County. So it's hard for me to take that seriously when it's happened before, and that stuff hasn't changed. Nothing changed within that. And yet here we are again, and through his explanation is that he just decided he didn't want to do it anymore, and he left. Now, whether or not that drug issue, I can't speak to that, but all we know is what we know, and that he has been convicted of this. He knows he needs to do it, yet he fails to do it. And he's going off, and we don't know, and that's the point of having a failure to register, is that we have someone out there who's shown the propensity to act that way and not comply.
Right.
I'll say that.
Thank you, Mr. Hoffpower. What's your drug of choice?
Methamphetamine.
For some reason that's, oh, there it is. Used daily, okay. I have a big question mark on this one, Mr. Bratton, because on paper, you deserve 25 years to life. You're habitual. The fact that your attorney negotiated a plea just to a 3rd-degree felony is already a huge win, in my opinion, because I mean, future behavior is typically, we can tell what you're going to do by what you've been doing in the past. A lot of times people can change, and you've been given so many opportunities. I appreciate Detective Flores's statements. I appreciate the fact that you want help. I don't disagree, honestly, that probation sometimes is harder than prison, especially, I mean, if I give you 10, you're probably not going to do half of that, maybe a third of it, and then we don't have anything. Anything as far as being able to really keep track of you and for a longer period of time. So what I'm going to do today, Mr. Bratton, is give you probably the last chance you're going to get, at least here in this county. All right? So I am going to find that you entered your plea of guilty freely and voluntarily. I'm going to find sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and at this time find you guilty of failure to comply with sex offender registration requirements. I'm going to sentence you to a term of 10 years in prison, but I'm going to probate that. You will be on probation for 10 years. You will be ordered to enter and successfully complete the SafeP program. You'll go into custody today, you'll wait for a bed, you'll go to SafeP, you'll get out, you'll do whatever aftercare. I would like it probably to be through JCDI unless there's something else. I want it to be intensive outpatient when you get out. You will be given the tools to be successful. It's up to you to take advantage of that. You will be from the beginning on the high medium caseload, and you will be on zero tolerance. That means there is no, I relapsed and I tested positive. There is no, I missed a meeting because I couldn't make it. You make one mistake, I want probation to bring the case back in here. You're going to go do the 10 years that I just gave you. It's just that simple. This is it. This is your chance. There will be no room for mistakes on this probation because you've already been given that leeway earlier in other cases. So this is it. If you do everything you're supposed to and you change your life like you say you want to, that's your choice at this point, right? It's addiction is what it is, but you have the choice now to fight that addiction and to overcome it with the tools we're going to give you. And if you don't, you'll be back in here again looking at the 10 years. If you do it, everything you're supposed to, then you'll be able to serve that 10 years while you're out on probation. And live like the rest of us. Get a real job, be a real dad, be a pawpaw, be all the things you want to be. It's 100% up to you. I will not, you have a 10-year sentence. There will not be negotiations when you come back for some lesser sentence if you violate. That's part of this. You do have rights to appeal that. You pled open. I'm going to hand you the trial court certification that shows you do have some limited rights to appeal. You can talk to Mr. Kelly about that. I have also handed you a written admonishment regarding your ineligibility to possess a firearm or ammunition. Because of the judgment entered against you, you're ineligible under Texas law to possess a firearm or ammunition. Possession of a firearm or ammunition could lead to charges against you. Firearm is a legal term, and you should read that written admonishment I provide you to see what devices qualify as a firearm. If you have questions about the laws that make you ineligible to possess a firearm or ammunition, or about how long that lasts, you can talk to Mr. Kelly. All right, I wish you the best of the luck, sir. You can go back with the bailiff. Thank you, Mr. Halltower, Mr. Kelly. I'm going to order a $500 fine as well. Ms. Henderson? So, Ms. Henderson, hold on a second. Let me pull your, what are you on probation for right now? So you're on probation for possession of a firearm by a felon. You have a new case.
No, Your Honor, it's actually a theft of a firearm.
Theft of a firearm, okay. And let me find you, hold on a second.
I think I can answer the court's question.
What's that?
The state jail marijuana charge predated her plea on that firearm charge. It just didn't get indicted till after she'd been sentenced.
So you're on probation, and regardless of this case, the new one, it's new, but it happened before that. Obviously, there's an issue because you're continuing to smoke marijuana. Knowing that you're coming to court and knowing that you're on felony probation, you're continuing to smoke marijuana. Well, who else would take responsibility for it?
I just didn't care that serious as it was until after I.
Well, it's really serious because here's what's going to happen today. Because you're already on probation and you're violating your probation and you're violating your bond condition, I'm going to revoke your bond. In the probation case, there will be no bond. I find it is in the best interest of the community that there's no bond in that case, and I'm raising your bond in this new case to $50,000 in clause number 24 DCCR 1820. You can go back with the also a condition of if you. I don't understand why you don't already have one through probation, but if you make, never mind. You're not going to make the bond because I'm not setting one. Go back with the bailiff.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Nichols. Okay. Mr. Kelly? Deputy Millhouse, can we get Mr. Bratton back out? Mr. Hoffpower? I didn't, he can go to safe, he can go to ISF. On Ronald Bratton, we're bringing him back out. Safe P will not take him due to the nature of the underlying offense.
Okay.
ISF will.
All right.
And so I'm going to bring him back out,
Change it from.
change that from one to the other.
Okay, everything else,
Yeah, I don't like that it's a shorter period of time, but it's still, I think, in the nature
You're
of,
not gonna do it.
so we'll. Is JCDI the best thing after, you think, the most intensive? Okay. So, Mr. Bratton, in cause number 23, DCCR 1735, we're back on the record. Safe P will not take you because of the nature of your offense. So what that means is I'm going to modify the conditions that I ordered of your probation. I am still going to order all of the other conditions and that you get the probation, but you will be ordered to enter and successfully complete the substance abuse track of the ISF program. It is a shorter program. I don't like that it's shorter, but you need to take advantage of it. You will go through the JCDI program as your aftercare, which is an intensive outpatient. So you're still going to be given all of the tools, hopefully necessary, but it will be different. It will be ISF instead of safety. All right? All right, you can go back with the bailiff.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
thank you.
So, Mr. Hendricks, you tested positive for marijuana. When's the last time you smoked? And be honest, because you're gonna have to wear a drug patch and it's gonna give you the amounts. And so tell me when.
I want to say it was in December, because I just had a baby, newborn,
Uh-huh,
last month, so I can't smoke in the house or anything, so I was just smoking.
okay. So here's what I'm going, obviously, you know you've got a court date for a felony offense. So smoking, it's illegal whether you have a baby or not, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So, I could put you in jail today for violating that bond. But what I'm gonna do instead is I'm going to order that as a condition of your bond, you have to have a drug patch put on. It's a patch that you have to get put on your arm. You have to pay for it. You have to get it changed every 2 weeks like they tell you to. And if it's gonna show me again an amount, I will expect that that first one will be positive. But after that, it should be negative or that amount should be going down. If it's not, and I receive one, I'll look at those back in my office. We don't even have a court date. I raise your bond and somebody's gonna come pick you up and bring you to jail. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So, are you working?
I get Social Security,
Okay. How much do you get a month?
$961.
Okay, so if you're only getting $161, why aren't you working also?
No, I said 900.
Oh, 900. Okay. Yes. All right. So what I'm going to do, Mr. Hendricks, you do qualify if you're getting Social Security disability for a court-appointed lawyer. Would you like me to appoint one, or do you want to try to hire a lawyer? You want one? So I'm going to appoint you an attorney today. If you'll have a seat in the courtroom over here. And listen, wait, don't leave yet. This lady's going to call you up when she's ready to give you the information about who your lawyer is. When she gives you that information, you are responsible for calling that lawyer and making an appointment and going and see him before the next court date. Do you understand? All right, go have a seat. Or if she's ready for it, go ahead. I have a judicial review on Devonta Anderson.
Your Honor. Yes, he is here. Where he was here.
Let me see where we are on this. Good morning, you're Devonta Anderson. And Mr. Anderson is on probation for sexual assault of a child, correct? And let me review this again. Looks like I received an administrative hearing. The hearing date was December 6th. And that shows me that there have been some violations. You weren't reporting by mail. Looks like for most of the months of well, the end of 2023, beginning of 2024. You weren't maintaining employment and providing proof of that. You've had, as of December 6th, had completed 4.5 hours out of 300 or 400. You were supposed to provide some records and documents for a substance abuse assessment and follow those recommendations. You haven't done that. Tested positive for marijuana 5 times. Haven't been participating in the sex offender treatment program.
My understanding, he already has been kicked
They
out of that.
discharged him.
Okay. Does that change? So the recommendation was for us to have this review and then potentially ISF with JCDI following up. What's your position now since he's been
I've never
discharged?
supervised anyone like Mr. Anderson. We've gone over everything, we've had case review. He doesn't seem to be bothered at all by this probation.
Sure.
The reason for that is I understand I wasn't able to find a job. I'm not giving excuses, but the thing is, due with community service and not being able to find a job and not being able to be there or a vehicle of transportation, hasn't been causing me to go to community service first of all. And now, since I'm working now and obtaining going to college, I'm able to pay for fees or whatever and need that I might have to get. Which I understand it doesn't look good.
When was the last drug test?
This last one that the last one we received was also positive, so it was 6 positives.
Have a seat in the jury box. We're going to test you this morning.
January 30th.
Have a seat in the jury box.
He's also homeless as of right now, and he's living in a motel.
Devonta Anderson, come back up. Is probation still here on? Yeah. So, Mr. Anderson, you tested positive for marijuana.
It's been 6 days since I last smoked.
What?
It's been 26 days since I last smoked.
Well, it's ridiculous that you're smoking at all. You're on probation. Hold on, don't talk over me right now because things will go much worse than what they're gonna. You're on probation for sexual assault of a child and indecency with a child by sexual contact. You have done nothing that you're supposed to of the things that really concern me with regard to your treatment, your sex offender treatment, all of those kind of things. In addition to that, you're spending your time smoking marijuana. At this time, I'm going to revoke the bonds in each of your cases. There will be no bonds set at this time. I think that is in the best interest of the community and the safety of everyone. We'll get an attorney appointed immediately and they'll be out to see you and we can see if I need probably a motion at this time. Okay? You can go back with the bailiff. I'm sorry?
Do I have the time to speak? Can I speak to you about it?
Hold on. Actually, before you do that, he's not on bond.
No.
Okay. So what I'm going to do at this time is I can't do the bond, but I'm putting you in custody. I just got to figure out the right legal way to do it. I'm going to find at this time as a condition of your probation that you serve at least 20 days. That'll give everyone time to get everything taken care of so that we can move forward and see what the appropriate way is. So I'm ordering 20 days as a condition of your probation starting today, no credit for any time, and then we'll see where we get. All right, go back with the bailiff.
Or I can go type it today and
Okay.
send it over to him.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.